Okay, so a few videos ago, I said I would demonstrate how to use ChatGPT for trip planning. For this example, I'm going to plan a trip from Darwin to Perth. I'm going to tell ChatGPT a few details that are important to me about this trip. So I will tell it obviously when I want to depart. I'll tell it when I want to arrive. And I might tell it a few other details to customize this trip to me. For example, I don't like to travel too far in a single day. So I'm going to set a limit on that. And there may be places I want to stop longer at on a particular trip. And so in this example, I'll set one of those as well. I could really set as many as I want. But on this occasion, to fit in with my plan, I'm going to say I only want to drive on Wednesdays. I don't want to drive more than 400 kilometres in any day. And I'll tell it, how about 2 weeks in Exmouth? Okay, let's have a look how it replies. So it's going to plan my 3-month trip to drive only on Wednesdays and Saturdays as required, as requested. It's going to tell me how far I'm driving. It's going to tell me where I stop and on what date, how far I'm driving each time. Okay. I don't know that the 2 nights looks right for a Wednesday and a Saturday. We might come back to that. I think it's done a pretty good job, made a pretty helpful itinerary there. Let's just have a look at it. Let's see. We'll get it to tell us a few things along the way. Now, I'm recording this in real time. I have not cut out anything. This video is 12 minutes long or something, and we will make a pretty detailed trip plan here. So here we go. Yeah, it's done a pretty good job of telling us the kinds of things that we can see and do at each location. I think that's pretty helpful. Okay, I think it's time to see it in a spreadsheet. I find the best way to do that is to ask ChatGPT to give me a CSV file. That just is a type of file that will open in almost any spreadsheet program. I'm going to use Google Sheets. You could use Excel, anything you want. On the mobile phone, I find both work quite well. You do sometimes have to be a little patient with ChatGPT. It is doing a lot of work here in the background. And let's see how it did. Okay, we seem to only have the name of the town. Okay, let's be a little more specific. Sometimes it's going to take you exactly literally, and we're going to have to be more specific with our request. We want the whole itinerary plus the attractions for each stop in the CSV. Let's see how it goes with that. I like that ChatGPT is aware of the conversation up until now. It's not really just looking at the last bit of text and your last request. It really understands that this is part of a longer conversation. Okay, let's see how we went. Doesn't seem to have progressed to the download like I expected. Okay, we'll just click the little download button there and okay, yep. 45 bytes. I don't like the look of that. I think there's a good chance that that didn't work. The size of that file would need to be bigger than that to include all the information. But let's have a look. Okay, yep, as expected. Doesn't have all the data. Okay, patience, grasshopper. Let's just go back. Make sure that we didn't just have a download problem first of all, so I might just re-download the file. Click on the same link again. It's going to download again. Yeah, we'll let it download again, but look, it's the same size, 45 bytes. Okay, so I'm going to assume the file did not generate properly. So I think we'll go back a little bit in the conversation and we'll just basically tell it to try again. So we can click regenerate response. Now, actually, it might be better rather than letting it regenerate the response to that question, which it misunderstood the first time. It didn't give us all the information. Let's instead edit the question. Let's make the question correct first time. So at this point, because I'm editing a message, it's just going to forget everything that happened after this point. And the conversation will resume from where I asked the question, but this time with the question more accurately asked. And I like that about ChatGPT. It is able to completely forget the end of this conversation, so it doesn't bias the new conversation. I can erase that misunderstanding, which is easier to do with ChatGPT than it is with people. In that respect, you can deal with ChatGPT with a little less misunderstanding sometimes. Let's see how it goes here. We're going to have to be patient. It's doing things. Remember, we've already done our trip plan. Now, in 7 minutes. I'm now asking it to give it to me in a different format. So I'm now telling it to give me that information in another way. Let's have a look. Okay, brilliant. Really good. Really, really good. Okay. I think we can do even better. We've got our dates, we've got our downs, we've got our distances. Okay. I think we can ask it now to tell us a little bit more information. Let's just have a little play here to get some more information. So we want to get it to tell us the number of days in each location. There we go. It's going to add the column and it should give us a updated CSV. Once again, if you don't want it in CSV, you don't have to have it. But I can show you some pretty neat tricks for trip planning. I'll do it in a separate video though. Once this is in CSV format, some really cool things like just being able to add a week stop here or what have you, which, yeah, they'll affect your end date. It won't generate as cleverly as ChatGPT, but it will, in our case where we don't matter, it doesn't really matter what date we arrive, we can be a little bit flexible. I could adjust some things in the CSV. All right, let's have a look. Great. Or is it? I guess I was expecting 3s and 4s, not 2s, because we're driving on Wednesday and Saturday, or at least we're meant to be. So I think this might be a misunderstanding about how many full days we're spending in each location. So we might reword the question again and demonstrate that you can tell ChatGPT that it's wrong if it gets it wrong. So this time, what have we got to do? We're going to find out what day of the week is it saying we're traveling here. So we want the date, but also the day of the week. Let's see. Now, at this point, I've trimmed out just a little bit of loading time for some steps from this point on, just to make this video a bit more succinct. There's no need to watch it load all the time. I think you've got the idea. Let's see how we did here now. Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. So it did get me to travel on Wednesdays and Saturdays. That Sunday at the top is simply because I told it I wanted to leave on the 1st or something like that, and that was that day of the week. So it's done a great job there, but I think the days in location is still wrong now that I know that it's got the days traveling, the traveling days right. So let's just tell it a correction. Let's just tell it we want the nights instead of the days. I think it'll better understand that what I mean. And I'll just tell it that it was wrong, or it seems wrong, the day column there. And let's see what it produces now. Adjusting days in location to nights in location. So I guess that's more or less what I asked for. It's saving it. Okay, it says it's done it. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, all right. There's our 3s and 4s that we expected. There's 14 there, obviously, for when we stayed a whole week. Okay. So I think this is demonstrated pretty clearly how you can make a pretty good trip plan, either just in ChatGPT or using ChatGPT to produce a pretty useful spreadsheet. So I hope you enjoyed that. In my next video, I'll show you some neat tricks with the spreadsheet.